Motherfuckers, after a draw against the first of the ranking Vladislav Larkin, in the fourth round, I repeat white against the only grandmaster of the tournament, James Plasker. Okay, let's analyze the game. That's the previous game. Sorry, I should change the game. 1 second. Mm. And the first round, I won against two low-rated players, and in the third round, I draw against an international master. So until here I have 2.5 points of three. Okay, I open with e4, Plasker responds with e5, and we play the knight of defense. Here in the rapid tournament, I used to play bishop b5 more, but in this game, I don't know why I decided to just play d4, going to a more aggressive, for a more aggressive style. Knight 4, knight f6, knight c3, a6, the knight. And here I chose bishop b3. I didn't play many moves here, but in this game I just decided to play bishop b3. And my opponent came with knight d7, who is a move that I never analyzed. Maybe I saw in the past, but I don't know many elements of this move. A5 is one of the main moves, and a6 was another typical move there. Okay, of course, the knight d7 is normal, but it's not the main move. Here, e5, e5 and e6 are more normal. But okay, knight d7 is logical. Here I play f3 just with the idea of make a normal English attack with queen d2, g4, long castle. But okay, g4 dealing was possible. But okay, the machine play a6 and say that the position, okay, what is slightly better. But okay, f3 was fine, b5. And here comes my first huge mistake of the game in just the move 8. Uh, in in the sorry in the in the Sicilian, when your opponent plays b5, you can react in two ways, or just yes, doesn't care about b5, or play e3 or play e4. But a3 used to be more common when black have a good development and black have a good position, and especially when you are long castle. For example, if black puts a straight position, queen b2, bishop b7, so castle. Now after b5, now the white king is castle, so a4 here have less strong because less strength. Sorry, because the white king is long castle. Now a3 could be a more normal move, or just make some other move and let avoid and allow before. But when your king is not castle and when your rook is only one against b5, you always should play a4. Always, is the typical move here. Yeah, when your rook is still only one in a Sicilian and sorry, when you are playing a Sicilian opening with white and your opponent came with b5 and you have the rook on a1, you should play a4. This is the 99% of the times when you are playing a Sicilian with white, your opponent plays b5 and you have the rook on a1, you should play e4. That's the best move. If b takes, rook a4 and the a6 pawn is weak. That's the idea. And if b4, we can just land to d5. And knight takes, he takes, and this structure was fine. Now the before pawn can be weak. If white managed to play e5, in some lines white breaks on c3 to open into the c5 with the rook. Now the king used to go to in this type of position with a4 before the king used to go to the king side, but sometimes the b4 pawn can be a little bit blocked, and you can go long castle. But apart in this exactly position, white have knight c6, queen c7, knight b4, and just taking a extra one. So a4 here was the move, but I play e3. I stopped 2 or 3 minutes in this moment, but it's because it's so important. It's a positional huge mistake play e4. And this is a concept that I know, but I don't know what I don't apply it during the game. A3, bishop b7, d4 here was possible, but okay, queen d2 was fine. Long castle, d4, and in this part of the game, I was playing fine, knight d5, bishop b2, bishop b7. And in this moment I failed because I play h4 who have a very good response. The problem of h4, of course, if I can play h5 in the following move, everything is fine. The problem is that here my opponent reacts very well with h5, very good defense. So for that reason, was better just play king b1. And now the idea is that if black now goes for castle, now h4 was fine because h5 has less strength with the rook on f8. And if knight fd7, the same. Now h4 was better. knight b6, and now h5, for example. 94, takes, queen d3. If he takes the bishop, doesn't matter so much because now white attack was so strong with this knight sacrifice. And if queen c7, I just a6 and the bishop is trapped. And here, if e5, you have this tactic of take, and bishop c5. Take and queen d7. That's the idea. And for example, if now black plays h5, you can just play h3. Or d5, followed by... Yeah, but I prefer... okay, now 97, but I prefer h3. That's my favorite move here. But okay, king b1 here was better, and bishop h6 was possible also. But okay, I play h4, but h5 was a great response. And here the best move for white to maintain the equal was take on h5. Rook takes king b1, or knight takes like g1, defending g3. But okay, black is fine here. Instead of that, I close the king side with g5, which is bad for me. Knight f7, f4. Here, knight c4 was stronger. He came to g4, bishop g1. Knight c5 is attacking e4. Here, black is fine because he's so active. Let's see, black have a very good knights, very good bishops, bishop n5, and it's not clear. Okay, I have a space in the center, like in all the Sicilians, but I prefer black in this position. Black is also active, and I have the pieces strings. Queen d7, king b1, sword castle, knight d5, and here I threatening knight b6, and my opponent just doesn't care about the fucking strings. Took a fate, and I made a very good move here, just knight b3 without taking the string, because if I take the string, just queen c7, take, and black is close to be winning here. Here I saw with the machine with the best move. If white make the best move, black is better, and if white doesn't make the best move, black is winning. So I make it well not taking the change, just because my d5 knight was better than his fucking rook. So the d5 knight is the only good piece that I have, so I just prefer to keep over the board. Knight b3, and now he make a mistake. Knight a4 was the best option, but he take on b3. Now I have less problems in the position because now with this pawn extractor, sorry, with this fork, I miss the with this pawn extractor, my king is safer, and yes, and simply I have now the open c file. And one of my huge problems is that I have so much space with the pieces. So just try one pair of pieces, and especially the c5 knight who is attacking my e4 pawn can help me a little bit because his knight is attacking so much. So that the c5 knight is attacking the d4 pawn and my d4 knight I don't like because he's under attack all the time by the e7 bishop. Knight b3, knight takes, c takes, bishop d5, queen d5, queen c7. Yes, now for the first time during the game I had a good position, queen d2, queen d7, and now I made a mistake here. Until here the position is more or less equal. But now I made a huge mistake, and I prefer white a little bit, but I made a huge mistake. I played bishop d4. Okay, my idea is just try to develop the h1 rook. Of course, that's the idea of bishop d4. But I should first make an important move with king h2, leaving all the checks in this long diagonal. That's so important to improve the king here. Because the idea of king h2 could be just push the a pawn to e5. Could be this idea. Because okay, now e5 is not possible because queen e5. But king h2 was the most important move. Instead of that, I made a huge mistake with bishop d4, e5, and now I made the second mistake. Of course, I can just take here and knight a5, bishop d2, and the position is more equal. But here I made a huge mistake with bishop d4, and after queen d4, I'm just losing the e4 pawn. I completely miss about the e4 pawn. F takes, and yes, I just forget that I have a pawn on e4 who can be captured by the queen. That's so simple like this. And apart the capture of the pawn king with check. And after he takes, my position is just completely losing. I tried something, but And here that's rook f6 doesn't work because take and rook e7, rook e8, I calculate rook f7, rook f7, rook e8, but just rook f4 enough to win for black. So I just try to keep queens over the board. And now, yeah, I cannot go to d7 because we have rook d7, so I just go to d1, but now I'm completely losing. Now good tactics by my opponent and here checking in the hook. So this game has many things to learn. First was the a3 a4 moments here. That's one of the key moments of the game. Here is I play a3 instead of a4. But later, okay, I have a good position, and here I made the other huge mistake with h4, allowing h5 by my opponent with a good black position. Here was better just keep the tension with king b1. But okay, later I start to play normal. The game started into a little bit better for black, but I still in the game. But now after here was the last mistake. I make three important mistakes. First I3, later h4, and that's the last mistake with not playing he needs to leave in the diagonal and just playing bishop before I'm hanging my fucking whole position. So okay, that's a bad game. Here I lost my full option of win the tournament. After that, I only have 2.5 points of four in a tournament of only 4 rounds, 7 rounds, sorry. So, but okay, at least I have 3 rounds to try to come back and reach at least the podium or some prizes. So let's see how continue the tournament. Bye bye, motherfuckers.